Hi fellow birdies, and welcome back to
another edition of SongByrd's Eating Show.
In today's video, we're going to be eating some Subway and doing another game of Never Have I Ever. We got some good questions for you guys. You ready? Let's get started. Oh, and by the way, I have a turkey breast sub, and he's got a cold cut combo.
Yep, lettuce, green pepper and onions, mayonnaise with some vinegar and oil mixed in.
I think mine has like green peppers, lettuce, spinach. I took out tomatoes and red onions. I was not a big fan of them. And we got some regular potato chips on the side. First question, never have I ever pretended to be on the phone. Why not you?
Because there's so many ways to get out of a situation rather than pretend to be on the phone.
Like for me, there's been like certain times I haven't wanted to talk to somebody. Pretending to be on the phone is a good excuse for that. Yeah, like certain family members or whatever like that. I don't think I've ever done it to you. I'm not sure. Maybe not, but I can't recall. Never have I ever dated someone younger than me. No, I haven't.
I just give you a thumbs up.
Not bad. No, of all the guys that I've dated, I've only dated like a few. They've all been older than me. Of course, I think you're probably oldest that I've dated. You're like, exactly 5 years older. There was another guy. First guy I dated was like 2 years older. I think the second guy was like maybe 3 or 4, but you're 5.
For me, it's been kind of like a mix. Like some of them were older, some of them were younger. I don't think any of them were exactly my age. One's like 10 years older, one's like 5 years younger. You may know her. She's married to me.
Never have ever screamed during a scary movie. When I was like younger, I used to watch a lot of vampire movies, scary movies, like ghost movies and stuff. I think it was like sometimes I did scream, but it's like, I don't know, just like, I can remember screaming now.
Let's say, for me, I tend to like gasp, at most. Or my eyes go like really wide when I'm, freaked out. I don't really do the screaming that much.
But I've never really heard you scream.
Indeed. If anything, horror isn't what's going to get me to react strong. It's when someone's getting made fun of. Then I'm going to like start giggling madly and run out of the room because I can't watch it and so I get humiliated.
Never have I ever enjoyed a smell I'm supposed to find gross. I can be guilty of that because I think a lot of people find the smell of gasoline kind of gross. Growing up and kind of even a little bit now, I don't know why, but I like it. It's weird.
I'm a fan of gasoline too. Like there's just something about the, smell.
There's some weird thing about it, the smell. And even though it's kind of like a weird smell, something pleasant. I don't understand how our brains work for that. I really don't. But yeah, that's just like, some people would find that gross. Never have I ever eaten whipped cream straight out of the can. Oh, yes, sir, I have.
Not the can, but out of the container, yes.
That was a guilty pleasure of mine, like, oh, I just want a little bit of whipped cream. I'll just see a little bit out of the can. So good. So, I couldn't help myself.
I just grab a spoon.
Never have I ever been to a psychic. No? Although I've been sort of interested in going to one, like, I've always kind of like watching some of those shows growing up and stuff. You'd see like them predict answers for like when you get together with somebody, or are they going to stay happy and married, or what was their future was. I don't know, I kind of believe in that a bit, honestly, but I kind of wanted to go to one, but I haven't done so yet. I don't know.
I imagine it's possible there are real psychics, but I have no interest in, finding out. Even if I did find out my future, it's like, I don't want to know my future. I want to learn it by experiencing it.
You kind of just want that to be unknown. What happened? Never have I ever been on a cruise. When did you go on a cruise?
Remember?
No.
I went with my folks. This is when I was really little, 9 to 11 years old. Mm-hmm. We went on this little cruise in Lake Michigan, I think it was.
Where did you go?
I went on Lake Michigan. Kind of like an afternoon cruise. I haven't done a multi-day cruise ever.
Me, I've always wanted to go on one of those big cruise ships that takes you to Mexico or the Bahamas or something like that. I've never been on one. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been on boats. The boats that go through the rivers and stuff like that, but I haven't been on a cruise ship. Never have I ever rode a motorcycle. I've been on some. I've never actually had someone drive me around in one.
I'm just too scared of the idea of getting hurt, or in a car it's designed to keep you safe, so if someone slams into your car, you at least have a decent chance of survival. Whereas if I go crash at high speeds on a motorcycle, I just can't see it. I know there's people who survive it, but it just seems way too risky for me.
They are pretty loud. Sometimes we got a neighbor here that I think owns a motorcycle, and sometimes I hear him start the motorcycle. And I do like motorcycles, but so I like to ride one sometimes. Never have I ever beaten a video game. We've both beaten a lot of video games. Like the first one I ever won, rather. I was about like 6 years old. This is when like 64 was out and stuff. Maybe I was even 4 or 5. It was like 1996 when Super Mario 64 came out. A family member of mine and I, we both played it and we ended up beating the game. That was like the very first game that I guess you say I ever beat in my life. Later on, I beat like, Elder Scrolls series, Morrowind, Skyrim, Oblivion, all of those. Morrowind's my still top favorite game of all time. I've been quite a few games.
For me, it's a long list. I'm trying to think of the first one. It might have been, Pokemon Red.
For the Game Boy?
Or it could have been like one of the Mega Man games. Like, as in like Mega Man X, Mega Man X2. I don't think I actually beat X until recently.
You're talking about the Super NES Mega Man X?
Yes.
I helped my mama beat that a lot. She would always like have it running for me overnight. She'd leave it running overnight and hope that the game wouldn't stop or get stuck. And then I'd come over the next morning and she said, I stopped right here. Maybe you could help me with it.
Definitely would need help. They made those games really tough back then.
Like I felt like in order to win that game, you had to beat the bosses in a certain order. And like some of the superpowers you got from them would help you more easily defeat that boss. But it was a fun series. Never have I ever seen an alligator in real life. Oh, please. We've seen them in zoos. Crocodiles, alligators, all that stuff. When was the first time you ever saw one? I probably was like a kid, I guess. I don't remember exactly.
Much the same. Like, I imagine probably the first time I went to a zoo. But that's a long time ago now.
I've never seen them out in the wild. Like they live down there in Florida and stuff. And even though there's like times that I went to Florida, like say I would go there for Disney World or whatever, or Universal Studios, I never saw one out in the wild. It was always in captivity. So, maybe one of these days. Never have I ever gone snowboarding. No. I've wanted to, though. The area that we live in typically doesn't see much snow, so we haven't had that chance. If you want to go snowboarding, you have to go out to Colorado, maybe possibly Utah, I guess, like that.
Yeah, for me, let me think of this. I don't think I went snowboarding. I went like, snow sledding. Sledding was, using the saucer, but never snowboarding itself.
Well, I've seen it and it's fun. Never have I ever donated an organ. No? Although I would like to be an organ donor. Like if someone needed a kidney, or I would freely give one of mine. Of course, they're saying something happened to me, but I hope it doesn't anytime soon. No, I wouldn't mind my organs being used for transplant patients and stuff.
Same here.
Help someone out. I think they would really appreciate that.
Now and once I'm no longer able to use them.
Never have I ever thought a cartoon character was hot.
Depends if you count anime. Because if so, yeah.
Mine is kind of embarrassing. This was when I was like this was back when, say, your Cartoon Network had all those like shows playing with like Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo and stuff like that. I had a crush on Johnny Bravo. I mean, I was like maybe 8, 9, maybe. I had a crush on him. I thought he was cute. The guy was like wavy, yellow hair and sunglasses. And I was funny. What about you?
Yeah, there's plenty of anime characters I thought were, attractive. Not so much cartoon stuff. I'm sure there was at least a couple, but not a whole lot.
I was just like silly. It's like, oh my god. I was afraid to admit that. Never have I ever driven a stick shift. I think I could say yes to this because I've tried, but I don't regularly drive a stick shift. Like it's the one with the gears 1 through 3 or 4. I typically like cars and drag cars that have automatic because I just feel more comfortable with that. Like, I guess if I was like racing or something, I would probably have to have like a stick shift.
Yeah, I've driven them like a couple times, but I much prefer automatic. Simpler.
Way too complicated for me. Never have I ever been scuba diving. I have been scuba diving, but I've been like, wearing snorkels, going underneath the pool, but not scuba diving with the air tank.
I think you're right.
But I've wanted to.
That would be fun, I will admit.
Scuba diving in the Great Barrier Reef, or, near the coast of Florida or something like that. They got a lot of cool things out. But of course, you have to be careful of the sharks. Don't let the sharkies bite you. Never have I ever danced in the rain. Maybe when I was younger, but I don't typically do that. Like, I've seen some people who are dancers actually go out and dance in rain, though, and it looks very artistic. I like that.
I danced while it was rain, but not outside in the rain.
I guess another reason I don't dance in rain is because I'm not a very good dancer. I've been trying. Never have I ever slept in my car. Who hasn't taken a nap in their car? Or even, like, slept for a few hours? I've done it a lot on road trips.
Not just road trips, like, well, I guess it was a road trip. Like, I was going to visit this one, girlfriend at the time. Mm-hmm. On the way back, like, it was already well past midnight. I just had to crash. So I pulled over and took a nap for a couple hours.
Yeah, things for me, it was just like, you know, we would be on a road trip to, like, Kentucky or something, or Illinois, and I would, like, fall asleep in the car, take a nap for a couple hours or two. It's kind of hard for me to fall asleep in the car, though.
Definitely not very comfortable.
Never have I ever had a blistering sunburn. Oh, God, yeah. I know that you've gotten some on your head, like, say if we're sitting outside for a while, even under those tent canopy things, which are supposed to protect you. It just makes it worse, actually, from what I learned. You got it worse.
And I keep having this, urge to, like, poke and pop the blister bubbles.
I was supposed to do that. You got the blisters heal.
But I just keep, like, rubbing them until they finally pop.
I know, but...
I shouldn't, but I do.
You gotta let it heal. That's what they recommend medically, is that don't bust your blisters. It could make the infection worse. Mm-hmm. For me, maybe not like on my head, but like my arms, especially say if I'm like, outside taking a walk for a while in the past, is like really hurt sunburn. Make sure you put that sunscreen on, especially this spring and summer. You need to protect yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't want to face the issues we have. Never have I ever been in a helicopter.
I'm not sure if I have.
I have. In fact, it was just a few years ago. My family and I, we went to Dollywood, or Pigeon Forge area in Tennessee, and we rode in a helicopter ride. It was really cool. It was like the first time I'd ever been in a helicopter.
Yeah, the next one's definitely one I would say yes to.
Mm-hmm. Never have I ever had braces. Oh, we both have, and that was a nightmare. For me, I got mine when I was about 13, and my teeth were so bad, I'd wear them for about 3 years. And then even after the braces were off, I had to wear retainers for another year.
I think basically mine were awful. I can't remember how many years I wore them, but I do remember that the wires would dig into my gum line all day.
Ouch.
As in like impaling it. So definitely not something I enjoyed.
Yeah, did you have to wear those like rubber bands too and stuff like that? That's the one things that you'd wear to like pull your teeth together more. I had to wear those.
I definitely had like a headset for a night.
Like for me, I wore the retainers, and then I had to deal with those rubber bands that went like up and down vertically. I'm so glad I haven't taken off. That was like a nightmare for both of us with the braces. Never have I ever gotten gum in my hair. I remember, this was when I was a kid, I was chewing some of that extra spearmint gum. I used to chew it a lot when I was a kid. It's like, I was wearing that, I was eating that gum, and then somehow I ended up like taking it out, and I was like, I accidentally put it in my hair. I remember like my mom and my dad like had to cut that big chunk out. It was horrible.
Well, to be fair, you are right. You did end up wearing it.
Mm-hmm. Never have I ever eaten an entire pack of Oreos in one sitting. What?
I mean, I just kept dipping them in the milk and then eating them. I mean, it was just one bag, right? I have done videos on ASMR where I've eaten a lot of Oreos. That's not the entire freaking package. Maybe like half? It was tasty.
Well, yeah, like Oreos are some of the best cookies you can get.
Especially when you dip them in milk. Or, at this point, probably all
Next time you eat Oreos, take a fork, stick it in between, in the cream part, and you can just dip it in the milk, and then eat it.
Meh. Like, here's what I would do. I'd take it and I'd unscrew, like, the, one of the Oreos, so I could eat, like, the, frosting with, like, just one Oreo. Makes it even better. But the best part is eating the whole thing. That's the whole enjoyment of it. Meh. Don't just eat the frosting. Gold. I did eat the whole thing. I just, ate it one piece at a time. I don't eat it separately. Everyone eats it differently. Never have I ever been to a pro wrestling match. When I was growing up, a family member took me to a few wrestling matches. And I actually had a crush on one of them. Oh, do tell.
His name was Bobby Lowe. I actually gave him a Valentine.
Aww.
This is when I was like 9 or 10 years old. Okay, in this video you can see if I made 2 crushes that I've had growing up, and I'm embarrassed. But yeah, like, I would go to pro wrestling matches growing up quite often. I think it was like Lewisburg, Tennessee, or something like that. It was at this old school, very old school. It's like an abandoned school, and they had set up like wrestling matches there and stuff. Have you ever wanted to go to one?
I actually went to a wrestling match. It's not a pro one. It was okay. Nothing special. I was there to support a family member, basically.
Wrestling definitely was fun to watch. Like, entertaining. You could buy souvenirs and stuff on the side. Like, I remember it's like they had the tables on the side, and they were like selling candy and drinks and all that stuff while the wrestling match was going on. It was fun to go to those, honestly. Anyway, guys, that's all the time we have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the questions, and there'll definitely be many more to come. Also, if you guys haven't done so, hit the red button below to subscribe and
hit the bell to see notifications, and I'll see you in the next video.
This is Crystal.
And Charles.
Signing off.
Bye,
Bye, birdies.